Alright guys, so what I'm going to attempt to do here today is I'm going to give you on Google Classroom a little Punnett Square method for monohybrid crosses, an actual document. It's a document that I'm basically kind of reading off of to kind of walk you through how to actually solve these things. If you follow the method that I give you, they're probably going to be fairly easy. If you deviate, you're just going to make your life a little bit more miserable. So the document that I'm going to give you, it's broken down into steps. And step one is read the problem carefully. So I've written out the problem here for you. It's the same one that's on the document that I gave you. A homozygous brown cat mates with a white cat. What are the chances the offspring will be heterozygous brown, and brown is dominant over white? Whenever you're reading these things, you always want to kind of make sure that you look at what's going on and you get the important pieces. So for me, I know I've got a homozygous brown cat and it's mating with a white cat. I know that brown is dominant over white. And then the question I got to answer is I want to know what are the chances that I get a heterozygous brown cat. Since these are Punnett squares, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be eventually calculating some statistics and probabilities. So that's why it's asking you what are the chances. So step one, always, always, always read the problem carefully. Now, the second step, step two, is make a key. All right. Now, when I say make a key, the key is going to be all the possibilities of essentially the phenotypes and genotypes. What do these cats look like and what do their genes have? So the way you're going to do this, one of the possibilities is you could have a cat that carries two brown dominant traits, big B and big B. And that means that this cat, because it has two of these brown traits, would also look brown. Makes sense. You could have a cat that has one of the brown traits, but then also has one of these recessive white traits. And that cat would also look brown. And the reason it would also look brown is because it's carrying this brown trait right here. And remember, this is dominant over this. This guy's recessive. The other option that you have is you could have two of these recessive traits, and that would make the cat white. So those are our three possibilities. These are telling me the genotypes. What genes do I actually have? And these are telling me the phenotypes. What do these cats actually look like? What does a big B look like? What does a big B look like? And what does a little b look like? Okay, so that's always going to be my step two. Now, step three, I want to write out the cross. And what I mean when I say write out the cross is I want to go ahead and I want to write down which two cats are going to be mating. All right, so it says a homozygous brown cat mates with a white cat. Well, homozygous brown. I've got two options here for how I can be brown. Now, which one of these two is homozygous? You have to remember what the term homozygous means. Homozygous means that you have to have two of the same trait. So here we've got big B and big B. Here I've got big B and little b. These are not the same. That would be heterozygous. So one of my cats I know is going to be big B, big B. That's my homozygous brown cat. And that cat is going to be getting crossed with, it says a white cat. Well, there's only one way to be a white cat. You got to be little b, little b. So these are the two cats that I'm going to be mating. Maybe this one's the male and this one's the female. I don't really care about the gender. I just want to know which cats I'm mating. Step four, I'm going to move this up a little bit here. Step four, simple enough. Draw a Punnett square, and this is going to kind of look like math class to some of you. Now, step five says determine the gametes. In other words, we got to figure out the sperm and the egg, all right, because gametes are going to go on the outside of this Punnett square. Maybe it's dad's sperm over here and mom's eggs up here. Now, the way I do this, I tend to put things on the Punnett square from left to right. That's the same way I read. And when I look at this, I'm going to also work from left to right. So I'm going to put these big B's over here on this side. Now, the reason I separate them is you got to think back to meiosis. Meiosis, you did the first round of cell division and the second round of cell division. Everything gets segregated and separated. So these guys have to come apart from one another. So I'm going to put them each down here. So maybe that's dad's sperm. And then this would be the mama cat. That would be her egg. So again, I'm going to separate them. And I'm going to put little b up there. Okay? So I'm going to determine the gametes. And then the next step, step 6, is I'm going to complete the square. And this is what you guys would do in math class. You're just going to put everything into the middle of the Punnett square. So I'm going to drag these in. Big B, little b, big B, little b, big B, little b, big B, little b. Just like you're doing a matrix in math class. Okay. Now, the last part after you complete the square is we have to do step 7, which is determine the ratios or percentages. So I'm going to walk through it like it's on your sheet here. The first thing they want to know on the sheet that I'm going to give you are the phenotypic ratios. And remember, phenotype, pH, physical characteristics. What does this thing look like? And on your sheet, we get a percentage of brown cats, and we get a percent of white cats. And if you look at this Punnett square and you go back to your key and compare, it looks like every single one of these cats is going to be brown. So therefore be 100% brown. We have 0% white cats in this particular generation. All right, so it says then, on the little sheet I'm going to give you, says, what is the ratio of the brown to the white for the above percentage? If you ask for a ratio, you're going to say 4 brown to 0 white. All right, you're just going to count them up. And it's got to total out to 4 because then you have 4 boxes in the Punnett square. Okay, now the next part that's on your sheet that they ask you about is something known as the genotypic ratio. And the genotypic ratio is the actual letters. So the genotypic ratio, we've got 3 things we can look at. We've got big B, we've got big B, and we've got little b. Well, what are the percentage of big B? It looks like 0%. It looks like we got 100% big B, and it looks like we have 0% little b. If we were gonna do a ratio, now you gotta be specific on the ratio, right? You gotta make sure you're telling me everything here. You would say 0 big B to 4 big B to 0 little b. Okay, and so that's basically the method that we're going to use to solve Punnett squares. Now, I know it looks like a lot of work. In the beginning, I'm going to want you to work a little bit harder and more diligently so you get this down. As we work through them, then they're probably going to get easier and you'll be able to work a little bit quicker and you won't have to necessarily make the problem take this long. But for just learning how to do them at the outset, I really want you to follow this, the 7 steps in order. Again, 7 steps in order. Read the question carefully. Make a key. All right, you're going to write out the cross. Then you're going to draw your Punnett square. You're going to determine your gametes. You're going to complete the square. And then you're going to do your percentages. So those are the 7 steps in order. You follow that, you're probably going to be good to go almost every single time you do a Punnett square problem. Okay? If you deviate, good luck. Okay, I've been doing this a lot longer than you, so I'm trying to make it as easy and as streamlined and as simple for you guys as I can. There'll probably be a little worksheet coming tomorrow for some practice problems, so just be on the lookout for that. I will probably also do a little open tutoring session tomorrow as well, so look for the link on Google Classroom in case you're having any issues with anything. All right, guys, I hope everybody's doing well and hanging in there, and stay safe.